What's going on, family? It's your girl Guruji Chastity, and today I want to talk about the true purpose of existing. Okay, this is a topic that's always ruminating in my mind, but I was really inspired by watching a Yaki Awaken video where he talked about the same thing, but he talked about it from a physical anatomy perspective, because Brother Man is all about the health of the body, cleansing and detoxing the body. He promotes a frugivore diet. Like, brother be breaking down the science of the body, like and so when I watched this video, I was really inspired to share the same thing, but from my emotional and spiritual perspective, because I feel like they go hand in hand. And of course, what we eat contributes to how we feel. But I feel like in the Black community, that's not always taught. So let's just get into it. And of course, this is not just for the Black community. This is for all people. But I am Black. Okay? So, of the African diaspora. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to be in the real world of it. You know what I'm saying? So boom, they'll run it. So I feel like the controversial topic that Brother Yaki broke down, and he really articulated it for me. I feel like, I don't mean to, but the very spiritual sense in me, a lot of my work is sent from that emotional and spiritual perspective. It's not always, straightforward and to the point, and I'm not always saying this is what we're doing and this is why to do this, this, and this, because everything isn't ABC 1, 2, 3, right? Sometimes we got to talk about the thing itself, then we got to talk about the root cause, then we got to talk about, what you might want to do, and nothing of that has to do with instructions. But the Western world that we live in, we want to know instructions, and I feel like Brother Yaki really broke that down. And I feel like the instructions that he gave about purpose was very controversial, okay? And we need to talk about it. So boom, the purpose, our real purpose around this mud, you know what I'm saying, is collecting data through experience to return it to source to teach God so that it could experience its own creation. We often mistake our talents and gifts for our purpose. So boom, I was on that rat race only till recently. My most recent videos, I talked about my latest existential crisis. I talk about not being on social media. I talk about the, elements of reality, because I really had to stop everything and started anew, because when I stopped striving, everything looked different. It was like, well, when I had to start asking, why am I doing that? What's the purpose of that? And none of it made sense. And Brother Yaki talks about this as well. If it's too complex, it just probably ain't the Yahweh way. You know what I'm saying? It ain't made from source or through creation if it's too complex. We are singular cell, prokaryotic cells, one cell organisms, yo. So things are very, simple, a give and exchange, right? And so we have been taught that everybody is out here striving for purpose. And so what I've been doing in my previous work is, because I was also still very conditioned and working off of my condition. I wasn't too attached to it anymore, but I was still working from that same story. And so I was creating work that was teaching people how to maneuver more healthily, I was teaching people how to maneuver in a more healthy way in a poisoned system. But now it's like, hey, you don't even have to maneuver necessarily at all. At least that's what I'm learning from an emotional and spiritual perspective. When you look at it from like, yo, our main purpose is to collect data to take it back to source, right? And even this hit me. I was like, yo, if we are meant to have these singular purposes, how we all experience it, like, yo, my goal is to be, my purpose in life is to be an athlete. My purpose in life is to be a musician. My purpose in life is to be a doctor. If that was really meant for it to go down like that, then you would never die. You just would have been here from the jump doing that one thing if that was your purpose. Because nothing is by fluke. All of this stuff worked, and whether we know what's going on or not, and we're gonna get into it, like our body, it works and operates from a perspective of like, yo, it makes sense that we're supposed to collect data. Everything makes sense, just like the universe, the sun and rising, and what all of the things are doing, all of these processes that we don't have no control over, no participation in, we don't have to worry about them, they just happen. It's like, yo, that don't make sense, right? If your purpose was very singular and solitary, you would only do that. You would never die. But we die for a reason, right? And if you're into African studies or into spirituality alone, you know that, like, when we die, this ain't it, right? I'm energy. This suit might give out, but I'm an infinite expression of consciousness that continues on. You see what I'm saying? And this is just like a transitionary period. Into what? Giving your data back, right? But a lot of us in the African diaspora overly identify with our body, because Brother Yaki said it best, again, using this brother words. He really inspired me for this teaching today. A lot of African black people we overly identify with our bodies, right? Because we are locked into our bodies either through mucus, through eating bad food, or through pain and trauma, because we don't deal with it. And so he works to deal with the mucus, right? The bad food that you eat and how to cleanse your system to get it operating properly. I deal with the emotional and the physical and the trauma the emotional and the spiritual trauma that happens, that's repressed, that causes pain in our body that we don't readily deal with. And that affects our ability to see past our five senses, right? And the reason why it's important for us to see past our five senses is because when we can see past our five senses, we then can realize that the life that we're creating is not something is happening out here that then reinforces how I feel. No, that when you believe that the things that happen in your reality then influence how you feel, that means you are overly identified with your body. If you can realize that I am creating the feeling in my body and then I experience it in my reality, that's when you can see past your five senses. That means you're tapping into something more and you're starting to really realize how reality is created, and then you can really start acting in your purpose and actually collecting data. But we just supposed to be out here having experiences, learning, and then you'll be like, well, why is that? Well, the universe was an all-knowing being. It is an all-knowing being. Not was. It is an all-knowing being. But to experience itself, it created us. Extensions, little small fragments of itself to experience what reality is like, right? And then to come back and tell it. And it created 7 billion experiences to do that. 7 billion experiments to do that. To collect data and return it back. Right? But what happens is, if you too bogged down with mucus and pain, and you come down here and you get bad data and you take it back to the source, don't you think if you failed the test, if you didn't collect the good data and you bring it back bad data, you're not gonna be sent back down here to do it again, to try again, i.e. reincarnation? I.e., if you don't learn how to let that shit go, or to move through it, or to heal your pain and your trauma, you're going to be back down here as a human doing this again. And I don't know about y'all. I don't particularly remember what had happened in other reincarnations, but I do know this one is tough. Hey, it's tough, okay? So, I'm like, it would behoove me to know what's going on, because I can't particularly say I would just readily jump back down here. I'm trying to, like, let me be a spirit guide for some other people so I can help them. But then that's when it get real deep, is that this is a collective effort. I can't really say it ain't no good. There is good in it, but it ain't that deep of a good if, I learn this information and I do something with it, and I may not happen to have to reincarnate because I learned and I let it go. But then I still see my brothers and sisters out here suffering. And it's like, yeah, if I do come back and be a spirit guide, you still watch your brothers and sisters suffer. And so it's like, you want to make it a collective, evolution, collective culture of like evolving, right? And so that's why, I feel like healers are put here to share this information. And we all healing in a different way. As I mentioned before, Brother Yaki is exposing the mucus part, the bad food part, how the food that we eat give viruses to this body. I like to talk about how the emotional pain and the trauma that we've been through give viruses to the body, and how we can use spirituality to heal those viruses that we've taken on over time. You know, and a lot of stuff that we hold on into our emotional body comes from genetics, from the genome code. You see what I'm saying? What gives us hereditary. And so boom, that's my TED talk on purpose, right? So let's hit the net one on a cub. Okay, look, so for our lesson today, we will look at a few things to back up that controversial theory of purpose. I feel like that's controversial because we have been taught that purpose is all of these external things. And then I ain't never had got this right here. If purpose is so external, why can't I take it with me? That just don't make sense. I'm supposed to be like, we are literally taught to hustle and make all of these things and physicality to make all this material stuff, to strive and work hard so you can build these material things. But it's like, bit dog. Okay, sure. But I can't take none of this with me. How does that have anything to do with purpose? Wouldn't purpose have something to do with what I can take with me? Not the stuff that I can't. Like, that don't make sense, man. And so today we're going to look at the 3 elements of reality, what the biospiritual vehicle is, the chakra system, and why all of this is relevant to begin with, or why I feel like it's relevant to share and talk about, okay? So look, that's what we're talking about to back up the theory of purpose that I just shared. And let me refresh you. I just said humans' purpose humans' purpose is to collect data to take it back to source, because source just wants to experience its own creation. And so you got to collect good data and take it back home. Okay, simple as that, cuz. But we've been taught that purpose is to be an adjective. It's crazy. Okay, boom. First topic at hand, 3 elements. And so I've talked about this in a previous video. And so here to the left, I made an ideogram, right? And an ideogram is just pretty much like a hieroglyphic, a concept inside of pictures. And you should be able to tell a whole concept through the pictures, right? And so the actual other video that I have breaks this down in depth, but we're just going to go over it briefly because this makes sense in terms of how we're supposed to be perceiving reality, that allows us to not overly identify with the body. But if we don't see reality this way, like, we just suffering. We're not really creating from our heart, from our soul. We're not experiencing from a holistic, you know, secure, abundant type of place. And so boom, here are 3 simple ingredients that make up reality, okay? So A, which is the first one we see right here, and then A comes with the circuit board that we see to the left. A means mind. Mind just says I am alive. That's the first piece of reality that we got to get jiggy with, and that's the most important, right? But it's the most like obscure, right? But mind says I'm alive, and it's the circuitry, it's the electricity, right? Next we have, in B, we have consciousness. I'm aware I'm alive. Now you start to see where I'm going with this. You see this TV box, okay? So mind is the electrical current, okay? And consciousness is the TV box itself. Now we all know what a TV is, so these references should make sense. But what we're gonna get to at the end is that I'm gonna break this down and really wow you. I hope I wow you, okay? Okay, so next, now we got the electrical current and we got the box that's holding the electrical current. Next and last, for C, we have thought. I think about being alive, okay? Now we have a picture on the TV box. Okay, so first we started with the electrical current. We just had current, right? And it looked like this, just laid out before us. All of these different pieces of electrical current. But then we went ahead and put that electrical current inside a TV box, right? And then we said, well, wait a minute. Now we done put this electrical current inside this TV box, turn this TV on. And now when we turn the TV on, it says, okay, now we can play all of this infinite potential that started with this circuitry. This is where I want to wow you, family. this is where I want to wow you. You are this TV, right? Technically, this body, this what this is. It's a fancy ass TV, right? What happens is when you overly identify with your body because you're bogged down through mucus and pain, you live in C. You live in thought alone. You think about being alive, which means you truly believe. Now, I'm not shitting on your reality. Please believe me, because I know this feel real because I've been there. But you truly believe I am this body and you identify with your thoughts. You can't separate the concept of being separate from your thoughts. You like, bro, what? Like, no, you just can't wrap your head around it. Right? And when you all overly identify with your body, you normally playing bootlegs on this TV. That's what's killer. And the reason why that's killer is because we looked at this circuitry on A that said, mind, I am alive. When we looked at this circuitry board, one thing that you got to know is that is infinite potential. You're supposed to be able to play anything on your TV. Right? Because you have the infinite potential of consciousness just flowing through you as this just fancy TV box. You just supposed to be out here playing channels, right? Metaphorically. You're just supposed to be out here playing channels, right? But when you live in thought alone, normally you don't live in good feeling thought. You don't. You live in fear-based thought. And you keep playing the same fear-based thought over and over and over and over. And you play it so much so that it shows up in your reality. But you so identified with the thought itself, you believe that it's your reality that's making you feel this way. And if only you can work hard enough to change your reality, you'll feel better inside. That's the trap. That's why, okay, that's another reason why that's important, right? So 3 elements of reality. Boom, you got that. This is one reason why it makes sense that our purpose is just to collect data, because we are a supercomputer, a super TV, right? But we're supposed to be able to play the infinite potential. But it's important to know how these 3 elements work, because if you don't know how these 3 elements work, you'll easily get overly identified with the thought, with the pictures playing on the TV, right? But when you know how reality is made, you can go back. Don't get me wrong. Even me, I get caught up in bootleg movies, but I know I can drop out of them and change the channel. I can be open to let anything play. I can let that bootleg play through me, and I don't gotta keep playing it over and over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? A lot of black people fearmonger themselves inside. And I can't even say black, but let's just say low IQ. That don't mean intellect, that means energetically, right? If we ride in the elevator and it go from light to dark, you know, low perspective to high perspective, if we can't never make it past elevator 5 and it go to elevator 1,000,000, what you mean, big dog? Like, that make a difference. That make a difference. You see what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I dropped down in that IQ elevator, but I can start to realize, like, Lord, wait a minute. I'm making this up. Let me get back on this. Beep, 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 beep. Let me back in here. You see what I'm saying? But if you don't realize, if you don't know what these elements are that make up your reality, you will be overly identified with your reality, i.e. not fulfilling your true purpose, right? You ain't out here collecting the good data. You just collecting data that you think you should be. And consciousness don't want that. Consciousness wants you to fully express itself, so it can get all the beautiful data that is itself, right? But if you out here just living in thought, you're not experiencing your full potential. You feel what I'm saying? So boom. Hold on. Whoa. This is important. So now, let me turn my speaker back on so y'all can hear this. So now, we're going to get into the biospiritual vehicle, i.e., I reference this in so many different ways because I got to make it relatable to us, family. And so the biospiritual vehicle is your body, your car, the TV that we just broke down. You see what I'm saying? And so Brother Yaqui, I thought this was very important because he breaks it down in a physical way, because he works to heal the physical body, right? And so he's pointing out how your body is set up for your purpose to collect data. Simple as that. And I was like, yo, I can't explain it like that because I'm still learning. I know anatomy enough to like help myself, but I don't know it enough to be trying to tell it to somebody else. I'm gonna keep it 100. So I said, yo, I gotta put this in a clip, right? So the biospiritual vehicle, the body is an information gathering system, and the physical anatomy of the human body supports and protects the process of collecting data. Your body is built for it to make sense. I'm just saying. And he finna break it down for her right now. Let hit it.
Notice the adrenals protect the kidneys. You see that? Notice that the rib cage protect the lungs and the breath. You notice that? Notice that your skeleton structure, your cranial, protects your brain, which all the information come in at. So if you look, because consciousness, the only way that it can experience it, have to create a body. And that's the reason why you have eyes. You have eyes for you can see. You see light code frequencies, you decode the information, and then these things turn into pictographic images. Same thing with your ears. You have ears to hear. You get the vibration, you get the light codes, and then you break those down into sensible information, data. You're picking up on data. When you're listening to somebody speak, you're downloading. That's how you listen. You listen to learn. When you're watching something, you're learning. You're downloading. That's why you have eyes. When you smell something, you're getting essential smells in. This is therapeutic. You're downloading. When you taste, you're downloading to your taste buds. When you have sex, you're downloading. Everything is information. That's why.
Okay, so look. Hold on, fam. Even when you think about this, right? We now live in a world where we using all these fancy words like downloading. What do we ever stop to think about, well, what if I'm downloading, what that make me? Because when you on your computer and you download something, what you get? Information, whether that's an MP3, a movie, a document, a PDF, a flyer, a graphic. When you download something, you get information. When you get a download, first of all, do y'all ever question who gave you that information and then what you supposed to do with it? Like, you're not gonna keep it forever. You see what I'm saying? Like, so if we out here in the woke community and we downloading, what does that make you? Do we ever stop and think about that? What does that make me if I'm supposed to be out here downloading? How could I have just one purpose as I'm supposed to be downloading? Like, how does that even make sense? Wouldn't I try to download as much as possible? Why would I? Why would I want to be locked down to one thing, right? It just don't make sense. And think about how hard it is, right? When you growing up. It was hard for me. I was talented, and I'm talented in a lot of things. I can't say I was. I was talented in a lot. So when it came to growing up and trying to be like, hey, I'm going to do this in life, it was like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I literally, in random things, man. I'm going to start with the most random one that people don't know. I can do her. I can braid my ass off with the weave and everything, cuz. What? Well, like, what you talking about? I can paint. I can make music. Like, when I say make music, from a pretty, like, good level, I can produce it. I can write it, I can mix it, I can record it, I can make the graphic, I can make the thing to put it out, I can make websites, I can shoot videos, I can crochet, I can play the ukulele, and now I'm looking around just stuff in a room. I'm a scholar. Like, it's just all of these random things, and it's like, that makes sense. That makes more sense. And it's easier to follow the intuitive path of just doing what feels good, and instead of doing what we think is right, which is, oh, I need to get a job and do this so that I can have this and supposedly live a good life. Like, when we start doing what we think we should be doing, that's when things get very complex, very much so away from like our natural processes and how things have been laid out for us. You see what I'm saying? And so I know I'm not the only one who can resonate that it's harder to box yourself into doing one thing how we've been taught, to have one career path and just do that one thing. Most entrepreneurs nowadays, yeah, they started out with one thing, but everybody doing like 15, 20 things because that feels more natural than the way that we've been taught to do things, man. It's wild. It's wild. Okay, so boom, now we done learned about the 3 elements of reality. We done learned about the bio-spiritual vehicle. So if you are like, nah, cause you capping, not only through religion or just what I've been taught, my purpose is not to just collect data. My purpose is to do X, Y, and Z, right? If you still there, the reason why I'm making this video is to at least show you what I'm saying, and it's not to change your mind. It's not to get you to agree with me. It's just for you to get curious, to say, well, well, if that's the case, I wonder this, I wonder that. Like, just get curious about it. I don't know. Question it. Go look it up for yourself. You see what I'm saying? But don't knock it till you try it, okay? Quick water break right quick. So, boom. Let's get into the chakra system. Now, this where it get juicy for me, because this is the emotional and spiritual work that I do, and this is really what I have to learn to do, and I still use to continue to heal myself, because it be so much repressed emotion up in here, cuz it ain't even no black people thing, white people thing. I'm talking about me. To even really let go of overly identifying with my body, there was so much trauma I had to let go of, and then I realized that my body wasn't even functioning right. Things wasn't normal. I was living in constant pain, but I just made it a normal because that's all I had been living in. So I didn't even know that my body ain't supposed to feel this heavy. I'm supposed to be this tired. This supposed to ache this way. I'm supposed to walk like this and bend like this or use this muscle. Like, half of these things was just running on trauma-filled autopilot because that's all I had known in my body. I wasn't really living in my body. I was living in my head, right? And so I had to learn the chakra system through learning Reiki. And that really taught me how to release repressed emotions in a healthy manner, yo. And so learning what these systems are and then experiencing them and experimenting with them throughout my body and my everyday life is very important. And this chakra system, this emotional body, points out how emotionally and physically this thing is set up to collect data, okay? So we got these 7 chakra systems. Most people are familiar with the chakras, and if you're watching my videos, Lord, you should be, okay? I'm just saying. The chakra systems are energy hubs that lie over organs which produce and create for you to experience life, right? So I would suggest, if you want to know the actual ways and what each organ does to produce, definitely go to a Yaki Awaken video, because again, I'm not there yet. I have basic information, but that's for me to inform my own body and my own experience, not enough to share. But I will share and talk about what I do feel I'm well versed in, and that is the chakra system. So when we look at the chakra system, the first one we get to is the root chakra, which says, I am, okay? This is my favorite one to use. It's like the universe was a librarian in its own creation, in its own existence. It said, I am. And it knew everything it was. So it was like a librarian that knew everything, but never had the experience, right? So everything that you know about yourself, about your physicality, for a woman lies in your ovaries, for a man lies in your testes. This is the parts of your body that keep you tethered to the earth. Right? It's your low elevator area. You see what I'm saying? This is the root chakra. It's connected to the ground. It is your I am. It is your librarian faculty that says, this is what I am in conjunction to my environment, in conjunction to my experience. Right? But the librarian can't just know everything and not experience it. So it had to level up. As the universe began to evolve, so did we. We have our sacral chakra that says, I feel. Now that I know what I am, now I gotta feel into it. That lies in your adrenal glands. Your adrenals, like this, and this is also what we gotta do, family. I'm gonna have to make a part 2, because I'm gonna have to go over these organs so I can then furthermore show how these organs actually take in information, right? But your feelings and how that processes goes into your adrenals. That's your fight or flight right there, right? Your adrenals break down stuff in your body, right? Your adrenals, man, I'm trying to think on it. I don't know, but I know that emotionally, your emotions are handled through your adrenals, and that's where your fight or flight is, right? And so if you can't get your emotions together, you normally have like adrenal fatigue, dog, for real. And then you have other physical adrenal problems because you're not eating the right food, so it compounded, right? And so once the universe said, okay, bet, I am what I am. Okay, now I need to feel into it. Then it leveled up and created a solar plexus that said, okay, now I want to do something about what I am, what I feel, and what I do. That's a part of the pancreas. You feel me? That's a part of the pancreas, right? Again, all of this is collecting data. Even when we look at the phrases, I am. Okay, boom. First piece of data. Second piece of data, I feel. Okay, bet. I do. Okay, bet. Right? And then you can even use this as a reference when you collect literally a piece of data on your computer. What is the piece of data? The piece of data has to have a certain feeling, right? What is it? Is it a PDF? Like, what's the name of the document? That's the I am. What's the I feel? What is it? What kind of feeling do this document have? Is it a PDF? Is it an MP3? Let's just say, okay, now it's an MP3. Oh, what that do? It play music. What it's normally gonna play? Something that you want to hear. Something that you like. Now we at the heart chakra. I love, which is your thymus. Your thymus and your actual heart. Right? I love. So now your MP3 file is playing something that you want to hear. Right? I.e. you. Now you moving towards something that you wanna do something about. You wanna feel into. Okay? You wanna love on it. Then that MP3 start making noise. It starts speaking. It start playing music. You start using your throat chakra. You say, I speak. And that is your thyroid and your parathyroid. Okay? Okay? Data. Then you got the third eye. Now the MP3 player, now the MP3 file then gave you information. Okay? Now the MP3 file then enlighten you. Now you see. Now that's your pituitary gland. And last but not least is the crown. Now after you done all of this and you done got all this information from the data, now you got wisdom. Now you know. That's your pineal gland. Now, I done took it through so many metaphors, but I just broke down how an MP3 file collects data, and that directly references the chakra system that directly lives within you, that directly lives on the physical organs, right? And so how, Sway, how does that not make sense? That makes sense. That purpose is about collecting data. It's not this big old mission type thing that we've been taught. You're just supposed to be out here following what feels good. Allow the natural spontaneous coincidences to fall in your lap for you to be surprised, man. This is crazy. And we all out here suffering, trying to hustle while life passes us by and wonder why we unhappy. Like, I want to say cut it out. But I remember when I didn't always have this information. So I can't even stun on nobody. In no type of way. You feel me? So boom, let's move it on. Alright. So now we at the last point. I done gave you first off, I told you I feel like what is a controversial concept of what purpose is. Which is nothing more that your purpose as a human is to collect data and take it back to source. So that source, thy God, can experience its own creation through this human thing called a body. And I proved 3 different ways why that is true. By using the 3 elements of reality, by breaking down the bio-spiritual vehicle, which is your body, by using direct references from Brother Yaki Awakened, who broke down how the physicality of your body makes sense for collecting data. Then I broke down the chakra system, and I used that quite beautifully with the on the go reference of an MP3, which is a data file, okay? And I broke down how a data file directly corresponds to your chakra system. Now I want to talk about why this is relevant, why I even took the time to make this video. And I feel like it's because we've been given how-to solutions for why not problems, right? Most people know that they want to succeed, but no one knows why they won't let themselves succeed, right? So to redefine success on your own terms, you need to know what's going on. Because here is the thing, we are living now in a time where on social media, it's all about manifest. And we see these things and we want to have this idea of luxury. And so everybody is trying to manifest abundance. But it's like, to create success from your true perspective and actually be abundant, you need to know what's going on, right? But if you, I don't even know if I can say this, but it feels relevant to say, bro. If you don't know how your organs function, if you don't know how reality functions in conjunction with you, right? You really don't have no business trying to manifest nothing, because it's a waste of energy. You should really be spending your energy learning how these things work, so that when you actually do take a stab at manifesting, you're not making it harder on yourself. Do you know how much, if you already in pain and you trying to create abundance and then you don't succeed at that shit, do you know how much more pain that you creating versus if you just start from a clean slate? Let me see what's really going on in my body. Let me see how I can use certain foods and read certain material and try certain things, certain ceremonies with myself, certain rituals with myself, certain time with myself, to clear this off from a clean slate and then try to go for it. And so that then when setbacks and challenges arise and come through, I'm, more prepared, and I'm not dealing with baggage and trauma for 15 years ago when I'm trying to deal with something right now, right? But that's what happens to most of us. We trying to live in the right now, but we triggered by something that we done repressed from 10 or 15 years ago, and that burger and them fries ain't helping it come up any easier. You see what I'm saying? Crazy out here, big dog. Crazy out here, man. I love doing this, man. Alright, so we here. I done delivered the message, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. So remember, the journey to healing is your responsibility, but you don't have to do it alone, okay? I am here to lead, guide, and direct anyone who is ready to heal complex trauma like abandonment, body image issues, and people-pleasing behavior, and I'm gonna show you and tell you exactly how. So look, big gratitude, family. Big gratitude for your time today, okay? Love, light, and healing cosmic energy for you taking the time to listen to this message, right? I have full courses available where I'm teaching you how to do this stuff that I'm talking about today more in depth, right? And I got wider perspectives on the things that we want to heal in our emotional and spiritual bodies, right? And so I got 4 courses now available at gurujichastity.com, and oh my God, that was country. I got full courses. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and my name is Guruji Chastity, okay? Look, head to gurujichastity.com to get the full courses. They are studied at your own pace. As soon as you download the course, I got some free, I got some for the paid, but they all reasonable prices. But as soon as you download the course, it's instant. All the information right there in your hands, and you can start learning and healing right there. Right? And then we got the weekly videos like this available on the Guruji Chastity YouTube channel. And then I am also available for one-on-one connecting the dots initial consultations. Okay, that was a lot to say. Right? One-on-one connecting the dots initial consultation available in the description. I got the link available in the description where you can sit down and really talk to me, yo. It ain't a sales call. It's for me to just support you, right? And if, when we on the call, I'ma just be there to support you, to talk to you, to connect to you, to hear your story, right? Because I want to know how you out here collecting data. You see what I'm saying, right? And if you feel moved to be like, yo, I like what you talking about, sure, I'll tell you what I do. But for the most part, I'm just there to get to know you, how I can be of help, how I can be a support, how we can connect. You know, what we got to learn today. Maybe we supposed to be collecting data through exchange, you know, or I'm supposed to help you, you supposed to help me. I don't know, you know, but we got the opportunity to connect. And if you like what I do, we can definitely work together. Until next time, family, I love you. Peace out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to the channel.